What's up, guys? It's your Eagle the Eagle here, and welcome to part 2 of Devlog 4. In this one, we are going to be finishing up the rest of the specialty balls. We are going to be working on a function that prevents balls from spawning from the vanilla spawner if there are more than 10 balls, 10, specialty or not, on the screen. And then we're going to be adding one more feature to the game that'll help the overall gameplay aspect of it, which I'll explain later. So let's go ahead and get on it. And we are in, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get this day started. Alright, so the last time we left off, I was just finishing coding in the field balls. And the field balls were just vanilla balls that spawned 4 at a time, all on the field of the screen. So now the next step is the sniper ball. And then we're going to be working on the TinyBalls, and then the Debbie Downers. And then we're going to be working on the function that I use to create the system to where you can only have basically balls won't spawn if there are more than 10 balls on screen. Keep it simple and sweet. So let's go ahead and get started. So the whole point of the sniper ball is to create chaos in its wake. It shoots from the top left corner at a high rate of speed and bumps into everything else. This doesn't give you any extra points, but this ball does add time to the clock you can get it. And with that, I finished the sniper balls, and now it's time to move on to the other power-up balls, or not power-up balls, specialty balls, that's what I meant to say. But I had actually finished these in my own time, and I didn't record them, so for this segment, I'll just go ahead and explain what I did. For the TinyBalls, I researched ways to spawn a bunch of game objects at once, and it did indeed work. However, one thing I wasn't expecting was they all spawned pretty much stacked on top of each other. With that being said, I think it's more of a happy accident, so I didn't mess with it. The reason being is because when the balls collide or burst with other balls, they create a really cool burst effect that I think will make a surprise for our player when they see the one ball incoming and then they have a whole bunch they gotta get now. Debbie Downers were probably the simplest but also the most complicated of all the specialty balls. This is because the ball just wasn't working the way that I intended it to work. See, I wanted the friction to be high on them so that when other balls hit it, it slowed them down, making them stack at the bottom of the screen. What I didn't anticipate, however, it was balls like the sniper ball, basically giving all the other balls energy back after one hit. So for this, I just gave it good friction and let it be. Alright, so at this point, all the specialty balls were done. However, even with the small ball sizes, there were just too many balls on the screen. There's an interesting playable amount, but then there's insane. Right now I'm hitting insane. So what I want to do is create a function where the ball spawner, the vanilla ball spawner at least for now, won't spawn anything if there are more than 10 balls on the screen. So let's go ahead and get to that. Alright, so for this, I tried to make an if-else statement at first to see if I could add a score value to it, if I could call on the coroutine to actually stop spawning the balls. However, when I did this, I would find out later that, when I'd start the coroutine, it would act like void update and spawn 1,000,001 balls. So I had to get a little bit more help from the forums and yet again the Discord servers, and I eventually figured it out. Okay, so what I had to do was basically go back into the vanilla ball spawner and update how the coroutines worked to where it would add in this extra variable here that would take into account balls that aren't already on the screen yet but are about to be spawned in. So after a few modifications, taking this into account and making sure that the coroutines spawn everything correctly, and making sure all the spelling and capitalization was correct. Can't speak today, goodness. Everything worked like a breeze. And after all of that, all of the specialty balls are finally in. Took a little bit of work, took a little bit of modification, but the specialty balls are all programmed in now, and now the game is actually a little bit more enjoyable, as the screen will never be overfilled with a whole bunch of balls being on the screen. However, when I was making this, I noticed another problem, as you can see on the screen. The function I created takes into account balls that are actually active on the screen currently. It doesn't matter if they're in the game field or not. If they're loaded up into the scene, the coroutine I made accounts for it. And as you can see, some of them are actually bouncing out of the screen right now. And that's a bit of a problem, because if I have too many balls bouncing outside of the screen that the player can't get, then the function is not going to work properly, and the game's just going to bug up and, die, even if you have a bunch of specialty balls. So what I'm going to be making now is a boundary across the game field and the scene that is a trigger, and whenever anything cloned tag goes into this trigger, it gets destroyed. While I do that, go ahead and enjoy this quick coding compilation and creation compilation, whatever you want to call it. It's a compilation, enjoy it. It's only going to be a couple minutes, then I'll be right back with you guys. And just like that, everything is done. I have the Omni Shield up, which means balls will no longer just hang out in the scene, untouchable, and mess up any of the other functions. And it took a minute because I couldn't figure out why they were destroying, even though I forgot to use the on-trigger enter 2D instead of just on-trigger enter, which is, big beginner dum-dum, but it's all done now. It's done. It actually works.
So there you go, everything I needed to get done for this devlog, parts 1 and 2, is now done. And I'm glad I split it up because this video is now at about 10 minutes.
So there we go, a full week's worth of game development for Punchball, and 2 videos later. Devlogs part 1, Devlogs for part 1 and 2. And everything that I wanted to get done within this time frame is now done. We have the gate, I think we have the basic gameplay mechanics down now, and I can start working on more levels. There are some features I still want to add, such as power-ups and other things, but I'm going to add those on a little bit later. I also will be developing the look of the game, giving it an 80s aesthetic. Not 8-bit necessarily, and I want to make it 8-bit because that's overdone a lot. However, I want that, what's it called? I want that synthwave 80s sort of feel to it. Next up vlog, we're going to be working on more levels, just like I said. And we're going to be working on how to make them more difficult. I'm not sure if I'm going to increase the minimum score for you to win within 2 minutes, decrease the time that you have to make your normal minimum score, or maybe even a little bit of both. Either way, I am very excited to get this game done further. If you like these videos, please leave a like and subscribe. I've gotten a bit of support from the Discord servers and so if you continue that and share this video with someone you know, that's more than appreciated. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Jingle out!